Hello again, traders. Right, I wasn't going to make a video about this particular trade, so bear with me. But as it happens, I've just made a coffee. So as I used to in the past, make a coffee, let it cool down, and make a video while it's doing that. So tons and tons of reasons to take this trade and wait patiently for it. But main reason I was just had charts open and not even waiting for alerts anymore. This is a sort of a secondary trade, if you like. I'd already got an earlier trade, but yeah, I mean, I've got for me the ultimate way to wait for trades to come to me, which is what I always talked about in the past, and also alert me to when the trades are ready using multiple time frames. But I won't go into all the details about this trade, but hopefully you can see what we've got going on here. This thick line here, this green line, is aligned with the line chart on the H1 chart, and this is part of my multi-time frame line chart process of trading, where I can draw a level on a higher time frame line, and when the price closes through that with the lower time frame and makes a significant close, in other words, you can see it's been tested. Let's see if I can, as I say, I've not thought about producing this video, but so I can't remember the exact process. So you saw where that, let's have a look. You saw where that line was drawn on H1. This will also, sorry, I'm having a problem talking. I've got a mouth ulcer, which is a bit of a problem. You'll notice also that the line charts correspond with the open and close of the candles, because that's what the line charts are. They are the 1 MA, the 1 bar, 1 period moving average. So in this instance on H1, there'll be a line to 1 candle. And you can see there's a significant level there anyway on the candle. So you can draw them either on the candles or off. Notice also that the first target, if you like, that's where I knew the price might have a problem. And as a scalper, I'm only interested in trading to taking my main target at the first area that the price will have a problem. And hey presto, look where it had a problem. So we can now go and look at this on the 5-minute chart and see what I see happen time and time again on these significant levels. They will test, as you can see here, and look what happened the moment price broke through. Now, I think I waited because of the time of the hour and the time of, I was waiting for alerts on here and so on and so forth. I was watching price here. And as you could see, it was testing another level. Can't remember which one I was watching at the time, probably an M15 high. So same thing, multiple time frame analysis. Just because it breaks that H1, I wanted that H1 broken. That's right there, M15 around there, and it might have been M30 as well. Just because that significant level I drew on H1 gets broken. Oh, you can see there also you've got a R1 pivot, I think, from R2 pivot from yesterday, the white line behind there. So all these things as a scalper I can use to time my entries. I can use to, here's the daily pivot, today's daily pivot. I can use them to understand what's going on with price. The yellow daily open line is a massive part of my trading now, purely because, of all the things I've got on my charts. You've got shy channels, you've got shy channels on here as well. These are a work in progress. We've got support and resistance, but as a support and resistance or supply and demand, that's a better phrase in my opinion, because we're talking about supply and demand, which is how the markets move, buyers and sellers and all that lot. All these things on my charts now are just second nature. So while I'm doing what I'm doing, which is all the algo bot work and stuff like that now, which is the major focus of my trading, because I'm traveling, and to travel, I don't want to be bothering about opening charts and all that bother. You don't need it, in my opinion. These things, I know I'm digressing, but I apologise. These things are, you know, 2B reversals and all that lot, and you can clearly see all these on the charts. Levels of supply that get broken, levels of sellers that get broken by the buyers, and what do you think is going to happen when they get broken? There's my thick green line drawn on H1, and that describes exactly the process of moving up the higher time frames in order to see the true, more powerful, higher time frames equals more powerful levels you need to break. And if you've broken those sellers, then it stands to reason the price is going to go up, which is what I was waiting for. Now, I'm not really interested in the stress created by waiting for another 5 or 10 pips or whatever. As a scalper, and I've followed ex-city scalpers in the past, as a scalper, all I want to do is just make my money and then hit the beach or go fishing or play golf or whatever. You know, that's what these ex-city traders that I've followed well over a decade ago, I made a point of finding them. That's all they do. Or hit a wine bar. There was one that loved wine and was always in the wine bar for virtually breakfast, honestly. I think she was French Canadian, possibly, or no, she was German, but they enjoy their wine as well, I think, but the French in particular. But anyway, and then we've got all the other superb indicators. The Robin Hood arrow there, just before my entry, the TMA slope, which is the angle of the slope, and the RSI histo as well. So, you know, this is why I say quite often now, suffix my tweets and posts. I could write a book about this, because I could, you know, there's 101 things I haven't mentioned on this particular trade that I could have mentioned, and this is why I'm thinking of doing a sort of live Q&A type thing, or a subscription video thing, one-to-one, whatever, because there's just, I think people don't watch videos. I think that's clearly obvious, except they watch the wrong ones, you know, for the wrong reasons. So I think people need interaction in order to be able to, for me to be able to pass on what I'm looking at, and being talked through on a one-to-one basis, really, exactly why I entered the trade and so on and so forth. Everyone wants money management lessons. I'm not interested in talking about that, because you can go and find that 1,000 times over the internet. I've got my own methods, and really, if you ask me, I just use the 2B rules, Vix Barandio's 2B, or the Wyckoff rules, where you enter and you put your stop there. You can refine it, and what I would say then is, you just, if you watch 1,000 of these things and do the correct amount of work required, then you will work out where your stops need to be, and how often Vix Barandio's original targets, or Wyckoff, if you choose to call it the Wyckoff pattern, they're all the same, where they should go. The worst thing you can ever do is listen to all these ICT people, SMC and baby ICT scammers. Never take a trade. You know, they use arbitrary things like, oh, you calculate your loss and it's 10 pips, and then you say you've got to have 2.5 times your 10 pips, and that's absolute BS, you know. Sorry, I've got a bit sarky, narky, whatever, but I'm just sick to death of these people being scammed by idiots all over the internet. And as the years go by, it gets worse and worse and worse. Anyway, so I've digressed. We've talked about multi-time frame line chart analysis, which means I can get in at the break of the green line and not worry about that too much. Then we've got all the multi-time frame momentum reasons for entering the trade. Then we've got the time of the hour, which is important. I've talked about 101 times in my Twitter feed and on my YouTube feed. But that's it really. There's 1,001 things I could write about this. You know, you've got this and the alert. I did set the alert time on so I don't miss the trade, and it goes on and on and on. So anyway, hopefully this has some value for you. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.